quickly go through our classification tree. And let's see how it goes. All right. So let's quickly go through the classification tree for animals, and let's see if we can put all of them. Right. Let's go. So here it starts like this. We start with animals here. Put them like this. And animals are also called metazoa. Okay. Metazoa. Right. So this is where we are starting. This is where we are starting. Animals, which we call metazoa. What do we do? Well, we can, let me put this a little bit further to the left. Like this. Right. We can break them down into two. There are two types of animals. And what we will be using for the very first step is going to be, do you have true tissues or you don't? When we say tissues, we mean inside your body. Are all the cells doing the same thing or cells do different things? So if all the cells do the same thing, then that means you have no true tissues. That's a very basic animal. But then others have true tissues, which means that the cells in them do different things. They have red blood cells, white blood cells, all these other things, whatever you can have. So the animal, only one type of animal does not have true tissue, and this is going to be porifera. Okay, porifera is going to be an example is sponges. Okay, so let's say e.g. sponges. These are the only ones that don't have. So in here we'll say they are a type called parazoa, which means they have no true tissues. So when you see the word parazoa, it means you have no true tissues. That's what it means in Latin. Something that is parazoa, that is a parazoan, means it has no true tissues. Then those that have true tissues are called eumetazoa. Okay, this means that eumetazoa, this means that they have true tissues. Okay, you have true tissues, or let's just say specialized tissues. This means that they are specialized tissues. Right, there we go. Let me put it here. Sorry for that. Which means that we have specialized tissues. So this is the rest of the family. Only one type has gone to parazoa, no true tissues. The rest, all the rest, are eumetazoa. Now, when we have come this side to these guys that have true tissues, that have specialized tissues, the next thing we're going to ask is, what type of symmetry do you have? And also, we know when we ask what type of symmetry you have, we are also saying, how many germ layers do you have? So now we are splitting again. We have split once, we've gone down a bit, we are splitting again into two. There we go. Right now, this side is for radial symmetry. We can write that. Radial symmetry. Okay, which also means that they are, and diploblastic. Diploblastic. Only one type is here, one phyla, and this is going to be, so here I'm putting the phyla. This is going to be cnidarians. Cnidarians. Okay, these are the ones that are diploblastic and have radial symmetry. Right? Exactly. Now, what is the next thing? We then go to, you can see the video on the cnidarians and these other things. I'm just summarizing here. Here we have, the next is going to be bilateral symmetry, which means that it'll be an animal that is like an ant or something with a head. Okay, all those other animals that have a head, they have bilateral symmetry. Okay, bilateral symmetry. They have a head, they have a backside, and whatever you name it. So that is what we mean. It's now bilateral. Let me put it below the line then. We say you have bilateral symmetry. And if you have bilateral symmetry, that also means that you are triploblastic. You are triploblastic. We've talked about that. You can check Now, triploblastic, guys. So for diploblastic, we've seen that we only have cnidarians. Now, when we talk about triploblastic, the next question we will then ask you, we know you have 3 germ layers. That's why you're triploblastic. The next question we'll ask you is, do you have coelom or not? Now, this is where it gets interesting. First one, we turn like this. These are acylo. So let me write it nicely. It means acylomate, but I'm going to tell you the spelling. I'm helping you know the spelling by saying it that way. Okay, so you say acoilomates, which means acylomate, right? These are acylomates, and we only have one, that is platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes. These are flatworms, okay? Flatworms. An example is an earthworm. It's platyhelminthes. It's a flatworm. And that means it is an acylomate, which means there is no body cavity, which means there is no coelom, right? Good. Then the next thing we'll then put, we're still here. The other group here is going to be pseudocoelomate. So now we come like this, and then we say this is, right now, this is pseudocoelomates, which means pseudocoelomates. And pseudocoelomates, they have body cavity, but it is not, body cavity is not enclosed by mesoderm. Is not body cavity, let's just say body cavity, then you say comma, then you say not enclosed by mesoderm. Okay? By mesoderm. These are your pseudocoelomates. And the pseudocoelomates are, who is that? We also have one guy here, and he's going to be your nematodes, which are your roundworms. So nematoda, sometimes we say nematoda or nematodes. Okay? Nematodes, these ones are your roundworms. Okay? There we go. Now, what else do we have after these pseudocoelomates? Now we go to the last one, which is going to be, do I still have space to put it? I'm going to have to force it down there. This one is going to be your coelomates. So here we now write coelomates. Okay, these are the coelomates, and these ones have body cavity. We have body cavity enclosed by mesoderm. Enclosed by mesoderm. These are your coelomates. And who do we have here? Well, for coelomates, we keep going a bit, and we are going to split the coelomate into 2. So we do this. We would then have 1 for our coelomates. These ones are going to be your, let me make it long, then I can have space. These are going to be my protostomes. So I can say protostomia or protostomes, okay? Protostomes. And then these means, you can go and check the protostomes versus deuterostomes. We've got those 3 things. So here we can say deuterostomes, okay? Our protostomes, who do we have? We have 2 now on our protostomes. These are going to be, we can put them like this. We have our protostomes. There will be 2, and that's the end of the thing. 1 will be annelida or annelids, okay? Annelids or annelida. These are the worms that have segments. And then you have arthropoda, which is the most diverse of all of the phyla, which has insects, crabs, all these other things. Then deuterostomes, we have echinoderms, or we can say echinodermata. Echinoderms are also called echinodermata. And then we will have chordata. So these 2, let me put it, they're also 2 like that. Echinoderms And then we'll also have, my gosh, what have I done? Echinoderms. Then here we will have chordates, where we belong. Then these are the end. So we know that when we say protostomes, we can put one thing. You can also say that the coelom, one of the things, coelom comes from the cell masses. And in here, the coelom comes from, coelom comes from the gut or digestive tube. Digestive tube. This is another thing about them. In deuterostomes, we know that the coelom breaks away, it unfolds from the gut. Then in here, we know that the coelom comes from cell masses. It breaks away in the mesoderm. So here we have our thing, and we have this classification tree. I'm sure it's not hard. So anyway, here's the summary of it. When we are dealing with this classification table, these are the questions that we do. Number one is true tissues. Okay, true tissues. Do you have true tissues or not? Then the second question is symmetry. Okay, what is your symmetry and number of gem layers or number of tissues? Okay, we've called them gem layers. Are you diploblastic or triploblastic? It goes hand in hand with the symmetry. Don't ever forget that. Then if you now have done the symmetry, the next thing you ask is coelom. Do you have coelom or you don't? Okay, and then if you have coelom, the next question you ask, we will now ask, is then, for your thing, are you a protostome or you are a deuterostome? So protostome or deuterostome. Deuterostome. And you are done. So these are the levels. So when we said tissues or no tissues, no tissues was only the parazoa, guys, which is peripheral. Then eumetazoa is tissues. It goes and breaks down, the eumetazoa breaks down into two symmetries, radial and bilateral. Radial becomes cnidarians. Bilateral goes and breaks down with when we use the question here, coelom now. We are asking about coelom at this stage. Do you have coelom? Okay. See, we have three types now at this level. That's the next junction. We are asking about coelom. At this level, we were asking about symmetry. Okay. Symmetry. Let me use a different crayon so that it doesn't confuse somebody. I'm going to use blue. Here we were asking about symmetry, the type of symmetry and number of layers, of gem layers. Then at this one, we were asking about tissues. Okay. Then at this level, here we've gone here. At this level now, we'll be saying, should I say at this level or here? Or should I put it here? We'll be now saying protostomes or deuterostomes. Okay, that is where we have. So here we asked about coelom. As coelomates went, pseudocoelomates went, and then this should not be here. It should be right here. This is where we have the third one. So this is the coelomates. Coelomates, they come this way. Okay, and then pseudocoelomates came here. Acoelomates or acoelomates came there. So these are the questions: tissues, symmetry and the number of things, then coelom, and then the last thing would be your, are you protostomes or deuterostomes, and you have put everything. So just remember that your acoelomates, platyhelminthes, your pseudocoelomates, nematodes, then your coelomates are the rest, are going to be, for protostomes, remember that it's the two guys with A's, annelids and arthropods. Those are the protostomes, the two A's, annelids and arthropods. Simple as that. And then the guys that remain, which are the derms, the chordates and the echinoderms. This, you're done. This is the end, and you're done. Bravo! Okay, bye for now. See you in the next one.